And welcome to another broadcast. I'm here with my co-host.
Hey. Thanks again.
That's all right. And we're here in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illumindonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Yes, I was just am I still showing? I was started up by showing the UFO. Okay, I just switched it up. All right, so the UFO.
Hey, show me the UFO. I didn't see it.
I'm sorry about that. I did not share it with you. Let me go ahead and share. Yesterday, we ended at the end of the show. We had, I kind of just looked up and saw a UFO above Manila, and that was the using my wife's phone. I couldn't use my phone. The camera function's not working properly. It makes everything's blurry on it, so I can't use it. And then I used my wife's phone and was able to catch this, but you really don't get any details. It's just a line in the sky. So.
Wow, but you said it was even there's light. You can see the light from it and everything, all right?
Yeah, there's kind of a pattern of lights that are going from right to left from the way I'm looking at it. So it's always looking like it's going this way. So it's interesting. This would be like the second time that I've seen something like this from my observation post here. I've got a great view, I'll say that. I can see Manila. And of course, before you see at the very bottom of the photo, there's actually water, which is part of a very big lake. The lake is massive, 1.5 million hectares lake, freshwater lake.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't showing everyone. Now, I'll show it again to the people. I stopped sharing to you, but there it is. So anyway, it's it's just unique, I saw a UFO close up one time when I was young, like maybe around 14 years old, something along those lines. And I was in Pennsylvania, returning from the swimming hole where we had a rope swing. Right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that part of the country is beautiful. I had the best swimming holes where I grew up. I love it up there.
Yeah. It was just a beautiful summer day. I left like all the other kids that were still swimming and hanging out. I don't remember why I was leaving early, but it was about probably about an hour's walk for me to get back home. I remember that, and I just in the forest. I crossed this meadow, right? I had to cross the meadow to get there, and it's literally just high grass, like 2 feet, 3 feet tall grass, and it's not everywhere. It's not like it wasn't like cornfields kind of thing crossing, but there's a lot of high grass in that area. And anyway, I'm just crossing through. My eyes are down. And I just happened to look up, and I saw, first thing in my mind, I'm thinking it's a ranger tower, or like a forest, ranger tower, which they have for spotting fires and things like that around. But I thought it was, because it was just, like, so why would something be in the trees, right? But it was just above the trees and back further. It wasn't right at the edge of the meadow, but it was very close. And I said, what is that, right? And all I saw was it went straight up and then back away from it.
Wow.
And I remember trying to tell everyone that I saw a UFO. Nobody believed me.
I always try to take the mysticism out of it. Just, it's an unidentified flying object. Like, I don't know what it was.
I don't know what it was yesterday. I don't know what it was back then. But in the look of it, from what I can remember, I wouldn't say it was a saucer, but more of like a cylinder.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So, for whatever that means, and now, Western Pennsylvania, there tends to be a lot of there's been other UFO sightings in there. So we were kind of south of Pittsburgh.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen a few things. A few.
Well, I've heard Bigfoot.
You heard Bigfoot?
I heard Bigfoot. I haven't seen Bigfoot, but I did hear Bigfoot. This was in Boulder Creek, California, and I had a girlfriend that was living in that area, and I'd come visit. So I was there walking the dog at like after midnight, something like that, right? Taking the dog out for a walk in the forest, literally like a cabin in the forest kind of thing. And the dog wanted to go out, so it went out. And just out on the path, I heard, this roar, So I heard that before on the Art Bell show. I said, that's Bigfoot, and and it was like it repeated like twice, but it was a very unique sound. It's not like something like anything else. And maybe about 2 years after that, I didn't realize there was literally a Bigfoot museum in that area of Santa Cruz, in that same area, in the mountains of Santa Cruz, towards Boulder Creek. There's a lot of little towns through the mountain roads and things like that. And there was a Bigfoot museum. So I went in there, and they actually had this big map on the wall with pins, right? Colored pins, like black pins, red pins, so on. So people heard Bigfoot or saw Bigfoot. And that area where she lived was a place where there was, and other people reported the Bigfoot, noise at that point, the roar. At the same time I was there, I can only estimate. I didn't mark the date, but I can estimate about what month it was. There was a lot of people reporting at that time.
Yeah, the Bigfoots are, the Sasquatch, or I don't know what they're actually called, but they've been here a long, long time. They're elementals that adapt, they live in tribes, I don't know if tribe is the right word, but, like packs like that.
Sure.
All over, it's, the Ruiner, has a pretty good report on that.
Yeah. They said that they literally would, they found out that they would only eat organic apples. They'd bring a bushel, right, and they would basically set a Bigfoot trap or Sasquatch trap, but not to catch them, but to photograph them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, but they said they were very smart.
There was a video out there, right? It was like so well done, and it was like they had captured this Bigfoot, and they had used the cameras to observe what it was like, and it was for hours. It was in the cage, right, there, and I have no idea what it was. I'm sure it couldn't have been real, but I But gosh, I wanted to believe it was real so bad. It was so cool the way they did it. It looked so real. You know, so people got to have experience with it somewhere.
Yeah. I've also had one experience with a ghost when I was really young. I can't really say, maybe I was 4 years old, 5 years old, something like that. My mother, was chasing the ghost around the kitchen table with a broom, and I'm falling behind my mother. Like she's trying to get the ghost to leave.
That's hilarious.
So I remember that. So that, it was very unique. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just open to these things, right? Some people might have them happen right in front of them, like a UFO hanging in front of their face, and they may not even look at it, right? It may not just be.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone. Yeah, I think it has to do with frequency or something.
So
in college, right now in Watkins Glen, which is right near where I grew up, right on Seneca Lake, there used to be an abandoned monastery that, after it was abandoned by the monks, later became an insane asylum, and then it was abandoned again. Right?
Of course, it always happens.
It was
that way.
it was the most like ominous building, right? The edge of the lake, a very steep banks, and it just loomed out over the hill. Right now, as a kid, like this is like a dream come true. Right? It's such a cool building. Right? It's amazing. So there was these kids in my neighborhood, right? They were not kids, they were just a couple years younger than me, right? So I was like 20, they were like 18. And they would go up there, and they had video of things happening in this place, right? And they were saying how there's satanic rituals go on there, and there's all this stuff, and like they're saying like there's stuff on the wall that will move, and we saw blood coming out of the wall, and crazy stuff that you see in like horror movies, right? So we went on this road trip in college with maybe like 9 guys from the wrestling team. And we go there, we drive out to this thing, like, when we were in college, so we were doing all types of crazy stuff along the way, right? So we had a quarter keg on the way that we drank the whole way, and, all types of stuff. So we get there, and we're coming up over the hill. Now, the grass is about, like, just at the middle of your thighs, right? Big waving grass, right? And it's just a terrifying move. And all of a sudden, we just see a light going through the windows, right? And it wasn't a ghost. It was my one dumbass friend who just had to do everything first. He ran up in front of everybody, and he was checking out to see what was there. But then we went in this place, and it was terrifying. The whole place was terrifying. So we walk out to the road, and there's this guy who had to be like 6'5", this huge guy, and he's got with him like a little person, right? Very. I guess midget is not appropriate anymore, but it was a little person, right? And they were both wearing matching black jackets, total black outfits, black boots, and big black hats, right? And all they said to us was, "Do not go in there. It's a death trap," right? And then we turned around to get in the car, and they were gone. It was the freakiest thing. When I think, whether they were in a body or out of body, I'm not sure, but it was interesting.
Well, you brought up midget, right? As it's a medical term, right? I don't know why it's not appropriate, but it's a particular condition, like genetic condition. I knew that the biggest midget. He says he has the condition, but he's big, right? And so it was, but he was probably about 5 foot, maybe 4 foot, something. Right? But it was in particular his, but it was just not as dramatic on him, I guess you might say, because he wasn't 3 foot. So he called himself the biggest midget.
No. Biggest midget. Well, there's midget and there's dwarf. They're actually 2 different conditions. I guess the midget has a shortened torso with their arms are normal length, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you have dwarfs where everything is short. Yeah.
Right. Everything is proportionally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyways, that's enough about that talk.
What about the gnomes?
Man, everybody knows the gnomes are magic. They defend the forest.
Well, my former chief technology officer, I used to, refer to him as like the garden gnome because he looked like a gnome, right? there are people in the world that kind of have gnomish qualities to them.
The Dutch, of course.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
But, the gnomes are like they're like the leprechauns of the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So they're round nose, particular, jawline, all, kind of comfortable in a beard look.
Yeah, if you saw every person in my family forever, everyone looks gnomish. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know any elves though. Wannabe elves, but not elves.
Yeah. All right, we gotta get back on track. I'm gonna get in trouble. So.
Okay.
I don't have a report from Kim. I do not have a report from Kim as far as where we're at. I did see a very interesting tweet today when I was from JFK Jr. I think, the fake account there, I don't know, or whatever it is. It said the silent war is still raging. Right, soon it won't be silent anymore. It's still silent. Or the war is still raging silently, but not for long. Which would stand to the reason that we're about to come out with some kind of actual information. I keep hearing reports about kids being saved, but it seems like the same report regurgitated over and over again.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I actually went on a mission to look yesterday to see if I could find anything, and I found nothing. Nothing. The same pictures we've already seen, but nothing that I could say. This was happening right now. So either it's being scrubbed, right, or they're just not letting it out.
Well, it looks like I do have a connection and to get down there, and I'm going to get a press pass and be able to go down and help out. If it's legit, I think I'll actually find out. I have a meeting tomorrow, so we'll see.
Well, that's awesome.
I mean, as far as Central Park goes, that is.
Sure. Oh, that's awesome. You can be able to really get a report on what's going on. So, being right on the front lines, that's definitely it.
Yeah, so here's something that I think is really important. So Vice President Pence said that hospitals would be compensated for all of the losses because of the coronavirus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, wow, that's a pretty good incentive to keep labeling everything as corona. And apparently there's a directive from the CDC that has said label all deaths corona. That's pretty.
Well, that's a horrible directive.
Right. Now, let's think of why they might do that. Now, could it be that it has something to do with these pandemic bonds that were issued by the World Bank and that all these people bought into? And the pandemic bonds do not pay out if one of these, different viruses, right, is
it doesn't kill enough people?
It says by 2020, if any one of these 6 viruses, right, and it's like, things you expect, like Ebola, and Corona is one of them, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is, the suspicion is that's why they changed it to the COVID-19 virus, so that it would pay out those who bought into the pandemic to try to leverage the pandemic, I guess, in people's lives, right? So you have a pretty interesting operation going on here, right? So that could be one way it could go, right? Another way could be that the plan was to allow, the coronavirus to erupt the way it is, so that you could, basically deny them from getting money and bankrupt the World Bank, which is already bankrupt. They have no money to pay out anyway. So.
Yeah. No money. Just reshuffling old stuff in the system.
I mean, you're really a riverboat gambler, right? If you are betting on whether or not we will have a pandemic, right? And you're buying from the World Bank, which they don't do anything that they don't know the outcome, right?
So, what was this? The movie The Purge. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a horrible, even concept, right, and everything. But in that, they showed these people that were at like an auction for buying people, Remember?
Which one was that? Which, I mean, because there's the
Oh, I
purge is
don't,
the,
I don't know.
from what I understand, the purge is the real thing that's actually happened.
Okay. I don't recall the time where you're excluded from prosecution by running amok and killing
No,
people.
I know. I'm just telling you what I was told. I don't know how that manifested.
Yeah.
Right? Not in the extent. But so a lot of the stuff that's in the purge, though, you can see has very real reference. Right?
Sure.
You have this church with the elite sitting around, and they're getting ready to sacrifice somebody, things like that.
Right, and that's where they had this auction system built into that, one of these things where they're grabbing people, bringing them to the auction. But I was just thinking that it's that mentality of people that would also then bet on a pandemic.
Right. Yeah, they're death dealers, right? They're death dealers.
So
sure.
I can see it, but why can there be such a lawful type of insurance policy? Why would it be created? Right? It doesn't
Right.
make sense, but because they're going to use that money to help the world.
Yeah, so what they said is, in case they did it to raise money, in case there was a pandemic, that they could help out these 76 countries. So, to me, that would kind of identify your target list right away. But if I was one of those 76 countries that's going to be helped by the World Bank, I'd say, we're going to pass on that. And we're going to move. Obviously, this is where you want to. So, I don't know. But I find that to be a very interesting idea that there's even such a thing as pandemic bonds. I mean, you want to talk about they leverage everything, right? They leverage everything to try to create money. And they're high yield bonds. Too. Like one is like you put all your money, and the payout is like 11.6%. On what you invest, every year. So, and the other one is like 6%. And like it's partial, part of what you make.
Well, I don't call that high yield, considering what they've been used to dealing with, right?
No, but I don't think it's accurate, Dan. I'm saying that's what they're reporting, which means it's probably 200% or something. And they're leveraging back and forth, and there's probably a way to buy into the pro pandemic. And so now that's what they're saying. It's COVID-19 is what they're trying to say, not Corona. But it's the same thing.
Right.
But they relabeled it because Corona was in the list.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something to that I think is important in this whole process. Probably.
Yeah, I think so. There was let me line up something else I want to show. Q Patriot, was putting out something again that I caught that I thought was should be talked about. Let me see if I can pull this up. This had to do with Robert David Steele.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, so he basically was pointing out that this International Court for Criminal Justice, right? And he's pointing out Robert David Steele, and I want to just basically go over that. Let me bring that. I'll share that with you. I want you to hear what he has to say. In other words, so.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I like that.
Okay, sure.
David.
I happened to make a comment in the section there too. So share this with you. Okay, here we go. So it's Q Patriot, from today. QAnon posts, watch the news, watch the water.
It's not an adversarial court, it's a nonprofit educational event. And with enormous energy and intelligence, all of us have been brought together to try to bring out some of the aspects. So if I may, I have prepared an overview statement based on my work these many past weeks. And I want to just say that as a parent and as a patriot, I'm absolutely outraged by what we're allowing to happen to our children. Humanity is judged on how you treat the weakest member of the society. Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children.
Stop right there. What did he just say?
Sure, what did he say? Yeah.
Yeah, he said pedophilia, which has nothing to do with he said it has to do with child love.
What?
That's what he just said. So let me play it again. Hang on.
Wow, that's telling.
Yeah.
Weakest member of the society. Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children.
So, do you know where this is going, right? This is complete controlled opposition to mitigate the damage to the elite. This is what this is all about.
Holy cow.
I know Thomas has been on this as well. He's brought this about. When this first came out, right, International Court of Criminal Justice, I did a couple videos on it, and I said, oh, that's good. But I felt a little odd by some of the just way it was presented at the time, right? And this says it right here. Here's the path being structured. Right, we'll listen. We'll listen one more time. We'll let it go a little bit longer.
Of the society. Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children, these children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load.
We are,
Again,
right?
children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs.
There. I mean, that's... I don't even know how people don't pick up on this, right? I'm sure everyone is probably picking up, but most of the people, when they first get exposed, they know that he is CIA, right? They know he has a background. He's appeared on Alex Jones, right? He's part of that team, right? And he's been around. He's the responsible for open source. So everyone who is an open source fanatic, buys into this. And there's some good things in open source, just like in a lot of things that are put out there. There's some good that comes from open source, but he didn't say what he just said, last year, right? But last year it was more about redemption of the people that are doing these bad things, right? This time it's like, oh, well, we know pedophilia is just child love. It's not. It's nothing to do with harming children. I'm sorry, that's not. That harms children.
So is he representing the courts of the wicked right now? Is that kind of what? There's another
court that was doing these same things. It was a grand jury set up, issuing their own arrest warrants to the Pope and they served them and they tried to arrest the Pope. This other group has been doing this and bringing people together to bring out this information. He's trying to shut them down. And instead, he said, well, we got to do something. So he formed this. But look at all the people that are in the room. Wearing the religious garbs from different religions, right? guy with the big throne chair that's there, right? It's brought in especially for him to sit on his throne. Whoever that is, and I have no idea who that is, but he's wearing black robes, right? He's dressing it up as a court, right? As an inquiry, right? Not legal, right? But he is trying to set the path. He's trying to mitigate the damage against the elite. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's, this is why it's so essential right now for these assemblies to come together in every state. We, by not acting, essentially what we do is we allow groups like this to assert their authority over us. And that is where I see the big problem.
Right.
It's like
they are taking up the reins of self-governance, right? So that they can, and then of course the media will focus on them at the right time. They'll turn to him, right? And he will then say, well, pedophilia is just loving children. There's nothing to do with torturing them. Nothing to do with harvesting their adrenochrome. Nothing to do with trafficking, using them for sex. So satanic ritual. No, it's just pedophilia. It's just child love, right? So this is the sickness that they're trying to cover up with this guy, an operative, a CIA operative, known CIA. He admits it completely. But he's running a mission. His current mission is to mitigate damage against the elite that are doing these things. He's just a pedophile, right? Put them into this category. Oh, they're really bad, right? But they're just loving children.
I want to go through that stuff, Dan, and really analyze this to break it down for people, because I dealt with a lot of guys recruiting me from CIA and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very sensitive to that. The total articulation they use to put people in a trance, right? It's part of the training. You see Comey do that too, right? Where he never really raises his voice unless he's trying to bring attention to some mundane disgust. He's like, how could you possibly say that? It's like, because the mountains of documentation, the laws. But what it does is it actually triggers something in you to question yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how could I have been so judgmental, or maybe I'm wrong, and that's done intentionally, right? In the tone that they use to speak, right? And you see this a lot of times with a informational conference calls. This guy used to come on, he was an expert. He would come on with his soft voice and be like, "Hey everybody, how are you doing?" And everybody would just fall in love with him, He'd be like, "Aloha," and they'd be like, "Oh, aloha! Oh, he's so spiritual and wonderful." Meanwhile, he was telling them horrible things, right? And just seducing the whole crowd, right? And everybody would eat it up, right? Like that stuff, man. I'm very judgmental. People that don't demonstrate any kind of emotion, right? Other than just fake glee, right? They smile big and act a certain way.
Like Booty J, Pete Booty Judge.
Right. Like he's the kind of guy that could be stabbing you and smiling about it, right?
Yeah.
Telling you like, "Don't worry, I'll still call your mom when I'm done." Like American Psycho. It's like that's the kind of thing, just psychopathic behavior.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so anything on taking out this particular character, anytime that this is going to come up, we have to really make a stand to push out, because this is their front line, right? This is where they're putting out someone to mitigate the damage against the elite, right? They're looking for their way out, right? And before, when I first heard about what he's doing, this was probably over a year ago. This was it was more about yeah, this is all really bad, but we have to find forgiveness for them because, whatever. Right? It's what was all about forgiveness. Now it's like this is the next tack. It's like, oh, pedophilia is not all of these things, right? Not all this horrible stuff. It's just loving children. It's not
Now,
harming children.
So this is something that I really think will define humanity. Right? It will really define humanity as to whether or not we're able to actually hold the responsibility of acting as the guardians of the planet and the life on the earth here, right? Responsible for one another, right? Because you can see that what's happened is you commit a horrible crime against someone, right? That's so unforgivable that it will force, just a terrible emotional response, a fury and a grief that just completely changes someone's life, right? Someone loses a child, I mean, they're never the same, right? It's brutal, right? It's brutal. I mean, it destroys marriages, relationships, right? And then if people don't feel, I mean, it's hard for people to be around. It's so heavy, right? It's so tangible. So now they do this over and over again, right? Then basically create situations where we look like we're irresponsible. We're too emotional to make sound decisions. So they need to step in to make decisions for us, right? Rather than just being like, well, you have committed horrible crimes against us, and being emotional is, actually appropriate. But, there has to be a balance for us to show that we can make intelligent decisions, right? And not just be, so what they're trying to do now is they're trying to get us to all be like, I can't deal with the negative vibes, man. Let's just forgive everybody.
Let's let this guy handle it for us. He's got a grip on it. Turn over your responsibility to this guy who's there to basically work for the elite.
If I could just offer a different perspective on that, right? Now, I don't look at any part of these creatures that have done these things and hold negative feelings for them any more than I look at a lion that's killed someone and hold negative feelings towards the lion. The lion is just being what the lion is. It's a hunter. It hunted down, prey. And it didn't really care what the prey was. It just took the prey that was, most viable, right? To its needs. Now, in this case, if there was as many lions as there are people, right, we have to eliminate the lions or contain the lions in some way. And we have to make sure that they're not allowed to do that because all of humanity's survival would depend on it.
Right.
Now, it wouldn't be a matter of oh, don't harm the lions. It's like, well, we have to do something because if not, the lions are going to eat all the people, right?
Send the lions to the island.
Right. So the same holds true here, right? That we can't cohabitate with individuals, beings that think they are superior to us, and at the same time also feed on us, right? Whether it's sexually, energetically, harvesting organs, we can't coexist with that mentality being here. So the only responsible thing to do out of love for the rest of humanity is to eliminate them, and to make sure that they're held responsible the same way we would anybody who did these horrible things, right? Now, it's not an emotional thing either. It's just a matter of survival. If we are to survive as a race, we have to do that. Now, that level of discernment, the ability to make those kind of decisions, is much more responsible than trying to do with this liberal, emasculated feminist movement is, right? Anti-feminist movement is, right? Of where we're supposed to accept anything anyone does to us. It's really a slavery movement, right? So he's just saying, hey, pedophilia, no big deal, just loving your kid. Just loving kids. What? That's not.
It's not harming.
What are you talking about?
It's not harming kids. That's what he's trying to say, right? Doesn't harm. It's not all these other bad things. It's just loving kids.
Right.
So
you're seeing things
he
about
needs
it, it's-
he needs to go to jail for the statement. That's I don't know if that can be a law.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that is so diabolical. Now that is CIA programming people
Yeah.
to think that this is okay. And you look, and look, I say this all the time. When things go crazy, right, when things are going crazy, you know who your leaders are because they're the only ones that are calm. Real leaders, naturally, when people are freaking out, they calm down. And real leaders, when everybody else is calm, they're the ones freaking out. Right? Trying to get attention on something, right? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So, in this case, what David Steele, who is, he's a programmer, right? He's a public image. He's been out here. Oh, I'm out here fighting a good fight. I'm just a big, lovable guy. Look at all the stuff I'm doing, right? But I know we reached out to that guy to come talk to us, right? Now, if he was about the people, why wouldn't he come talk to us? We're the people. He told us it would cost us $25,000. At the time, I think we had about 2,500 followers, right? Maybe 4,000. It was low, right? And why would you do that? Why would you say what you might as well just say send me back a letter and be like, hey, screw you, no way, But for him to say that, it's like you're not that important to us. First of all, I was just thinking I'd like to talk to you to see what you're yammering on about, if you have any value. But as soon as he put that number back, I was like, no, you just played your hand. I know exactly who you are now.
Yeah.
Right? You can't claim to be about the people. Then when you have, I mean, I think I take phone calls from everybody. I mean, I have a whole network of homeless people. I mean, across the country. How do you think I got that network of homeless people? Because I take their calls. And I don't look at it like, you're not worth my time. It's like, you know how much amazing information. So, I hate to say home. They're people, right? Who just don't have their own home right now. But they provided me with amazing information. And they're caring, considering
I got a good name for them.
Yeah, lay it on.
The extremely downsized homes. Because they have a place that they're sleeping, right? But it's pretty downsized. It's extremely downsized.
Usually they define themselves that way to me, and they tell me that. So I don't think I'm being
sure.
Insulting, but actually it hurts me a little bit to say it. I just feel it.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to be without a home, right? And to be saying that I'm okay with it. Now, there are people that really don't want a home, and that's okay. And people that want to be hermits and live in the forest and grab berries and fungus from the trees and dig up truffles. Those people can do what they want, right? It's great, But when you're out of a home because of the situation where you had a home and then the mortgage, rose because the interest rates went up so high, now that they're at zero, shouldn't all those people be able to go back in their homes?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's such a mess, It's like, why? I mean, how many vacant locations there are?
Oh, I know.
In Manhattan. I mean, so many places. You're just sitting there with nobody inside.
Yeah.
And then you got people in the middle of the winter sitting, laying down on the street. Which I don't know. I mean, it's a failure, for us as a society. And I get why you wouldn't necessarily want somebody with, who's an addict of some sort. That's an uncomfortable situation for the people who want to feel safe. I get it, but it's tough.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I brought this up a couple times before. Since we're touching on, I want to bring it up again. The cabal plan, is to get people out of their homes, right? And the bank has to foreclose, right? Take over the home, but the law says that the banks can't hold so much of an inventory of homes, right? And they also want to make sure that the homes are not on the market, right? Otherwise, it looks as though there's too much supply, so the price drops, right? So they push all of these homes, they sell off these mortgages, these homes, to a holding company, right? And those companies hold 10,000 homes or whatever. And so there's not on the bank's books. Then this company goes bankrupt, and all the homes that they held now are in limbo. They're not now. So we had discovered this back when, and we started the same process, basically of just squatting, having people go in and squat in these homes, and all they needed to do was take care of the upkeep of the home, and take care of the home, right? And the basic, pay your electricity bill, and then start paying the tax on the home.
Yeah.
All right. Then it's your home, right? So all these homes that were now in this limbo state, which I'm pretty sure a lot are, because what did they want to do afterwards? They were to come back and grab all of these homes after this whole collapse, right? They were just, it's all in a holding company that's defunct, but they know all the data. They have all the data where those homes are, which ones are like that.
Yeah.
What we were trying to do is make sure that we fill those homes with people, right? And have them assume the ownership.
Yeah, it's a brilliant thing to do, to be honest with you. I mean, like, and that's kind of a radical move, but
It is.
There is. There's rights. There's squatters' rights.
Well, we're smart. we can outsmart these guys. QAnon likes to say these people are stupid, right?
Yep.
All right, because they consider the sheeple are sheep, and that they're not people, and that they can't think, and that we can't know what their plans are for us. All right, so
they want us to comply all the time. Just comply.
And this is the same thing that the elites do to take over the indigenous people's lands, right? They come in, like in Hawaii, and they do this soft title. Then they come in and they start paying tax on the land that shouldn't have any tax on it at all, because it's owned by the people, by the Hawaiians. That's why they need to get rid of the Hawaiians. That's why the genocide that was going on, that Bill Clinton, admitted to and gave an apology letter for.
Right, you know how they did it, right, with the missionaries.
Sure.
That's how they took control. Now, people don't know this. Now my dad's a missionary, so nobody can tell me that I'm anti anything. My dad's a missionary, right? He goes to Honduras and helps set up people with businesses and does all types of things, right? Now, but the missionary movement, right, like with the Catholics, they would go in to convert people, right? Because they thought, well, look, everyone needs to be the same religion. That's the problem. They're not.
But yeah, you used the wrong word. It's not convert. It's control.
Well, right. But that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the whole Catholic Church is set up to be like, you come in and you confess your worst sins, then now this Catholic priest basically can absolve you from, right? Pope can absolve you from their sins.
And you're using the wrong word. It's not absolve. It's blackmail.
Well, that's what it ends up being, yeah.
Spiritual blackmail.
Yeah, it's exactly what they do, right? Like if I know your deepest, darkest secrets, right? Now I can hold them over you anytime I want.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the Catholic Church model is what you can see, in the government, the businesses. It's what they all do.
Yeah. Say, okay,
So,
for your penance, you have to do 5 Hail Marys, 4 Our Fathers, and be sure to hit the tray for the money. I forgot what they call it. Go ahead.
The tide.
The tide. Yeah, go hit the tiding bowl. On your way out.
Right.
So there are your commandments, right? Your new commandments from the priest.
Right. You can buy right ahead.
Yeah.
Works out. Yep. So, I gotta say though, there is a very clear and present energetic shift, and I'm a fervent believer that these things translate into actual results. I am very hopeful that we actually have a real real resurrection of the people coming. You know, I will say this that I'm very, very encouraged. I did a lot of work to set up the New York Assembly this weekend, and I was going through things to make sure we had things the right way, and I really wanted to make sure the Iroquois nations were included. I wasn't sure exactly the lawful way to do it, and I got to talk to one of the leaders for the National Assembly today, and he was saying how all the reservations they count as a county, right, in the state kind of ledger, right? So they have their own assembly for their county, and then representatives from that assembly participate in the state assembly, right? So they're actually part of it, which is what I thought, which makes sense. And he also acknowledged that the Articles of Confederation are actually what the law really is, right? And even in New York in 1777, the original Constitution was written, and it was never ratified. So the Articles of Confederation are the law, and also the treaties are acknowledged even in the Constitution as supreme law of the land. So you can't just impose, rules and laws on somebody else's land and not acknowledge and respect the treaties that you have with them just for you to have permission to be there. So I'm just very encouraged by that, because that's exactly what Michelle Walker has been talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I was just very encouraged by that. And then, so we were able to, I've reached out to the officers to get people to play the parts, for the assembly. We're gonna have a vote. Everybody's gonna, we got bios. We're gonna send out for everybody to vote on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. We have a Zoom meeting. You go to lawfulamerica.com and see the public notice. Come participate. If you're in New York. I mean, actually, I think you can come observe no matter where you're from, but New Yorkers especially, we need at least 30 New Yorkers, which I believe we already have. But it'd be great to have 1,000. But so all that is really amazing, because what happens is, what the contracts say from 1870 is that the corporation was able to basically take control because the de jure government had fallen apart. So they implemented the de facto government, but the de facto government only has power until the de jure government reestablishes the assembly. So just by establishing this assembly, you have the people actually having a vote and a say on what happens in their state, in their county, in their territory, and that has to be respected, right? Now, there's evidence of this that I thought was really powerful, right? So the National Assembly, they actually, President Obama came out, I think 2011, and he basically addressed in some kind of speech, kind of asking permission, I guess, as to whether or not he could invade Syria. Right, and he said 3 times in that speech, he referenced United States of America, and the National Assembly had already established the, assemblies in several states at that time, and particularly in Michigan. And so basically, they heard the message that he was asking for permission. So they had an assembly meeting. They voted. All the other states agreed, and they said you cannot invade Syria. So lo and behold, President Obama did not invade Syria, right? And so I thought, wow, that's really interesting, right?
It's interesting.
But then they recently put out something to President Trump, and they said that they were talking about how the last time the de jure assembly met was like 1870, and then 1871 get corporate contracts go into place, and they basically said these contracts are void, And they basically said everything that happened from 1871 to 2000, whatever, was also void, right? And so they put that out to President Trump, and they asked him, they said, we want you to acknowledge this in the form of a tweet over the next 30 days to let us know that you received the message, right? And lo and behold, President Trump did. He acknowledged it.
You have the tweet?
Now you got to go to the National Assembly website. There, though, they took a video.
Okay.
I'll pull it up tomorrow.
All right, cool.
But
Awesome.
but I thought it was, and they had a bunch of things like that.
It's
and
amazing.
they also talked about this Republican form of government and these kind of 20 basic requirements that they put out. And they said that They said, you can see it happening. They're actually following those directions, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, and we had we were actually going in depth because they had dealt with Leo Wanta, and we had discussed it. Like, Leo Wanta really had no right to that money. It was money that he was trying to steal. Or, I mean, that he was to steal from Russia. And if that money was released to Leo Wanta, it would be a world war, right? So he can't have that money, right? Because if he did, it would be Russia would
Right.
go to war with us, right?
Because he took it not legitimately from Russia. It was.
Well, yeah, because he was an agent, first of all, and his name was never on the accounts. Like, he didn't have the right to the money. Like, it was money that he just figured out a way to steal somehow, right? So that's not lawful, obviously. And then we talked about other people, similar narrative, right, of these groups, and he confirmed something that I've talked about several times, but he was the first person to ever confirm exactly what I said. I didn't bring it up; he brought it up. He said General Dunford asked for our paperwork on how we set up, the assembly. So we provided it to him, right? And they gave it to him, and they thought he was going to take that model and help implement it in all the other states in the country, but he didn't. He took it to France, and he set up the French Republic. And the French Republic's treasury runs out of Reno, right? And that's run by the Rothschild. And the enforcement arm of the French Republic, which is the shadow side of the CIA, runs out of Rockefeller Center in New York. And he was the first person I ever talked to confirm that, right?
Wow.
So now that's something that people just don't even realize, that actually happened. And this whole operation in Reno, right, is where the GCR is supposed to be going down.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all fraudulent.
Yeah.
That's just Rothschild money. They're just Rothschild way of trying to take over the country again.
Yeah.
So, but he said that's what it was, and he knew it. And I was very impressed that he knew all those things. He had done similar things that I had done. He'd gone through those different people, thinking they were legit, and then discovered they weren't. And I was very encouraged by that. So it was great to have somebody to get confirmation and answers from. That I'm like, yeah, I feel good about us using this model.
No, that's amazing. I never heard that. So France has run out of Reno.
Well, no, it's the American Republic. That's what they're claiming they are. But it's actually established in France under the control of the Rothschild. Basically,
The American Republic established in France is ran out of Reno.
Yep. So, that's kind of stuff they do all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint things when you keep shifting stuff around, right? So you don't know where to go to start to unravel things.
So this was the same. This is the same group, right? That was running things. It was trying to transfer power over to Chinese elders, right? The same group, right? So basically, this includes, because it's General Dunford was the one that set up. They were getting paid. The military is being paid and controlled by the Chinese elders for 3 years. So
which is the Rothschilds, another disguise.
Right. The Chinese elders just the Rothschilds.
Which I would have. Just one moment. It's like this is part of the nature of the Khazarians, right? That they would assume identities. When people were on trade routes through the Khazarian regions, right? They would basically hijack people along the route. They were going to do business from one area to another. They grab their paperwork, put on their clothes, and go and pretend they were that individual and go do the deal, right? And then they did the same thing for infiltrating royalty. They assume, hey, this is the prince. Hey, go get married, right? As they killed the other guy on the way. So because of the distances, no one would ever know. So this is part of what they do. They've been doing this for a long time. We have to be aware that these things is part of what they do to hide from us what they're doing.
Yep. And so to me, because this is my big concern, because everybody who's trying to do these things, right? Now, we set up Lawful America not to take the place of like National Liberty Alliance or National Assembly or any of these groups, right? The Assembly doesn't belong to them, right? The Assembly belongs to the people. So we set up Lawful America to kind of act as a, as a body that sets up presentments, right? And is kind of can act as an intermediary to field the concerns of the people and identify issues in the court, and eventually potentially become kind of a peacekeeping organization, right? And kind of help the Assembly by bringing appropriately prepared presentments that have actual irrefutable evidence involved, right? And all of that's lawful. And so in this, like, we're talking about setting up the Assembly, and I'm like, once we set up the Assembly and it's operating, well, it no longer is Lawful America, right? It's the Assembly, right? And so that's a body that, we set up, even in talking to officers, it's very important that they're willing and dedicated to, doing the right thing for the people, So, we haven't had a body like that in a long time. Now, because of that, you have all of the de jure seats of the government that are also sitting vacant, right? So your governor, lieutenant governor, whatever the other offices are there, right? Your cabinet for the de facto government that currently sits there. So putting the de jure in place, that's what the law says to do. So the people have to stand up, because if people don't stand up, you'll have these idiots like David Steele, who are out there talking about pedophilia, just child love. What? Like, that's not how you love a child.
Right.
Right.
That's, this guy needs to be arrested.
Yeah, I feel a little slack now that I didn't examine it more. I saw him talking for a minute, and and I've never really liked the guy that much, but but like what these guys do? They establish themselves as a voice for the people,
right?
In these communities, and they bring this information. They look like they're normal, right? So they infiltrate an organization. They get close. Now, this also happened here. Now, here in New York, there'd already be a New York Assembly, but who broke them up? Anna von Reitz. Anna von Reitz was touting the National Assembly, saying they were doing everything the right way. Then she turned on them, right? And they weren't doing anything different. She turned on them, right? And then she got in close, right? She infiltrated. Then she broke them up.
Yeah.
So the Assembly of New York fell apart before it ever got launched.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not used to that, it's very difficult. So we were setting it up here, and I was talking to who I think is going to end up being the president of the Assembly here, the moderator.
Well, it's easy to find the people that know how to deal with this, right? You just turn around and look at their back and see how many arrows are there.
Right.
And they go, hey, you know what's going on, all right? You've taken all the arrows. You're still here. Yeah.
Well, I told the president for New York today. I said, I'll be your communications director, right? Your PR director. For now, as the interim, until there's somebody better suited. I said, because I'm used to this, right? I'm used to people unjustly attacking us for things that are not true.
Right.
I'm used to them trying to sully our reputation. I'm used to it, right? I understand how to deal with it, what to respond to, and what not to. And I'm like, and I don't want anyone to be discouraged, right? Or intimidated by them. So, it's just a very, very, very fascinating situation when you think about it, right? This is a very important aspect of everything we're doing. These assemblies need to be formed in every single state in the country, right? And if we all do it, at least abide by the same basic guidelines. Not every state's going to be different, though, right? You have different states that are under different laws. But, in every state is really a nation by itself. But if we could just do that, if we could just put aside, if we just agree, let's protect everybody's belief system as long as they don't hurt anybody, right? Like, let's let everybody believe what they want. You know, if I like the way Elijah did it in the Bible. The prophets of Baal, they said our God's more powerful. Elijah said, okay, prove it. and the prophets of Baal prayed all day long trying to get them Baal to light up this pile of wood on fire. So Elijah, when the evening sacrifice came, he dug 2 trenches, covered it with water 4 times, and then he prayed and it lit up on fire, right? It's like, now, in that case, I'd have to believe Elijah. Because he proved it, right? He got it to light up. You know, so at the end of the day, it comes down to prove it. You know, put up or shut up. I'm tired of hearing about, oh, it's coming. It's almost here. Wait a minute, it's almost here. It's about to go down. It's like, what? What's happening? Does Hillary Clinton still have a platform? Is Barack Obama still running his mouth? Right? Are we still listening to Nancy Pelosi do anything? This insane, drunken, adrenochrome addict? Are we still listening to Chuck Schumer give his case with his man wife about whatever the hell he's talking about? This isn't even a. They wouldn't even make it into the de jure government, right?
No.
They would never be selected by the people.
Yeah. How's it possible they were ever selected anyway, unless there was some sort of shenanigans going on? Well, I want to ask our audience out there that's followed Thomas Williams, if you got one of Thomas's shows that covers Robert David Steele and what he's done, and in talking about these things against the other court, please send me the link for that. I want to do another video and really focus on what Robert David Steele is all about, right? That we need to really put the spotlight on that one sentence. When he slipped that in, pedophilia is just loving children. No, it doesn't harm children. So I want to do a video on that. So please, we're over an hour now, so we should, either wrap up soon or whatever. But I'd like to ask people to help me get some information about that. If Thomas is listening, you can send it to me as well. But I want to do something to really focus on this, because that one little piece, he just slipped that in with everything else, all that religiosity that he has around him, the robes that he's wearing, all putting on this mantle of officialness, right? So that he can basically slip this in. Well, that guy's just a pedophile. He's not one of those Satan worshippers drinking blood and doing all this other kind of stuff. He's just a pedophile. He's just loving children. Forget that. Right? We need to focus on getting that information to everyone. So every time this International Court of Criminal Justice pops up, everyone knows it's a farce. Everyone knows it's just there to control the situation, because the elite need a way out. And they don't get one. They don't get a way out. They don't get to whitewash this.
They'll be shown mercy through death. Right? That's what that warning said. Like, those who give up and comply will be shown mercy through death. And for the rest of them, they will live in the hell they created. Something like that.
So anyway, please, please assist in this. I know that I forgot the name of the other group, that was doing these actual bringing out the information, and bringing the assembly together. Where they assembled, I don't know if they called it an assembly or not, but they were doing this court, right? And David still tried to get rid of them, and now he said, well, we got to do something instead. So he orchestrated this to replace them and to give a way out for the elite, and we can't let it go.
Absolutely not. And to that point, the way to do that is these fake international courts. You heard Mike Pompeo say this, right, about the international courts. He said these fake international courts have no jurisdiction here.
Yeah.
Now, that's why every state has to form their assembly, and every county has to form their assembly. And Lawful America, we're working on it, but there's others. National Assembly is doing a great job, and I would say I really think those are the two. I mean, we're working with them, right? Like we're just supporting really what they've already done. And we tried to work with National Olympic Alliance, and I have nothing negative to say about them, but they didn't perform, right? And that's one thing I look for. The one thing the elites are excellent at doing is stalling. So any time we get stalled unnecessarily, when we've done our part, right? We did our work. I'm always very leery of that. So, I know they're trying to form county assemblies now, which that's great. However, I would say that it's been a long time they've been around, and they have not accomplished it yet. So I'm about getting things done. So, personally.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do it. Okay. Well, I guess that's a good place to break. Thank you all for jumping in here and participating. Our channel is growing again. Please go ahead and subscribe. It helps. Give likes, positive comments, and just share it. Share the link. Get it out into the other people's hands. Ask them to do the same. So thanks, Tank, for everything you've been doing. Great job with helping the assemblies come together, bringing the Iroquois into this as well. And we just have to keep moving forward. There's a lot going on, and it's about all to change it. I mean, it's changed, but for the perception of the general public, they're going to see it, and we got to hit the ground running and take everyone along with us.
Yes, indeed. I agree, Dan. Thanks so much. Everybody have a great night.